Who wants to start?
Well, I guess I'll start because
Okay, go
I
ahead.
kind of brought you in, right?
Yeah, yes, I think you should start.
Okay. When I was 19, I was an assistant for a married couple real estate team. So that's how I started. And I would fill out their contracts and put up their open house signs and do very, clerical things. It morphed from there. I got my license when I turned 21. I met John in 2005 or 6. That's when we started doing REOs. That's when I met Kristina. Actually, I know it's not true. I met you a long time ago. I met you in high school.
Yeah.
We knew each other since high school. But when I was
Really
working
knew
with John,
each other. Yeah.
you had gotten your real estate license and you were like, hey, I'm going to sell real estate too. And I was like, this is awesome. Come work with me. And we've been working together ever since.
Yep.
So,
Did you get your license together? Did you just decide
No,
together
she
to go do
was
it?
licensed, I think, a couple years before me?
Yeah.
Maybe?
I don't know, 04, I think is when
Yeah.
I officially got my license.
I was 06, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I ran into her at the 10th inning, and I had already been licensed, and I was at an office and it wasn't going anywhere. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, where are you? And she's like, oh, I'm with John and we're selling REOs. Foreclosures are going to be on the rise. It's a place to be. Come work with me. I interviewed with John, and that's our love story.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess my origin story is I was doing home daycare, and my sister's like, you should get your real estate license. And then my best friend at the time, Lindsay, she was working for her uncle who had his own real estate office and just doing secretarial stuff. And then we had talked about getting our licenses. That's really how it began. But how I really began to thrive in real estate was when I had talked to Rose and went over and joined John's team.
Well, I have a crazy kind of backstory how it all happened. I was getting my CNA, absolutely hated it. I was like going to pass out and seeing stars, had to go like outside of the clinical classrooms, and I passed, texted my grandma, and I'm like, all right, so what do I do now? And she goes, go be a rocket scientist. And I'm like, okay. So I went on a 5-week online NASA course. I was the top 30 of 240 people picked. It was good. It was great. They wanted to move me down. I was pregnant with Kiara, so the third child, and I had been kind of watching things for a couple years of how do people invest, right, with their own money. And one day a video clicked, and I started working for these two investors. Well, they kind of went off and went to Puerto Rico, and were like, well, it's kind of cheaper to not pay you while we're gone. We'll pick back up in February. So last day of November to February. Well, I was taking my real estate course. I went and took the test and failed it by 1 point. So I started investing, and then I'm like, oh, I can just kind of wait. So then after a couple of years, the kids are kind of, old enough to handle themselves. I just got into it. I mean, within a month, I signed up, passed the class, and started going. And it was great. I love it. It doesn't feel like work ever.
Yeah.
And I can tell. I always say when we get certain agents in the office throughout the years and they come in and you can tell. And I always say, the ones that have the twinkle in their eye. And that's exactly what it is, because you can see the ones that are just and then the ones that have the twinkle in their eye, they really thrive. And you're a rising star. Chandra, you've done amazing with, in just a little bit of time. What did you do last year? 4 or 5 million?
Yeah.
And you're on track.
Over 5,
your second year of real
I'm almost
estate.
at 7.
Yeah, it took me a while to get to 7 million in volume. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just think it's awesome that we finally came together. We're 3 definitely powerhouse women.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. We
I
jive
always
pretty
knew
well.
it was for me. You know what I mean? As soon as I was out selling, I'm like, oh, this is it. This is what I was meant
You're
to
a
do.
natural.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just awesome to work with, awesome to talk to. Everybody we talk to loves you.
Yeah, she's definitely, her strengths are where our weaknesses are. She's definitely like the manager, the boss, she's the go-to. And with,
Organized.
And with you being the managing broker, I mean, who better to have on your team than somebody who knows the ins and the outs.
Yeah.
the know-it-all.
The know-it-all.
She deals with our fiery, airy selves.
Yeah.
Yeah, you two are a lot to handle.
Yeah.
But I
Thank
love
God
it.
it's at different times.
Yeah, mostly so far.
Yeah. So far, so good.
Almost a year. That's pretty good.
That's true. We're right at a year, I think.
Yeah.
Well, this is perfect because you brought her, right? Like I brought you and you brought her. So.
Yes. So our kids, well, my daughter's a cheerleader. I first met Chandra like a year ago this past fall. Her son plays football and my daughter's a cheerleader. This was for the Junior Indians at the time. You know, she was talking about real estate and she was talking about her numbers. And I'm like, well, to make a long story short, I was like, if you ever, want to come over and, I
said, well, you don't pay franchise fees.
Yeah,
like,
I was like, you'll make a lot more money. And, so I'm like, and we're like a little family at Key. So I'm like, you just got to come over and check it out. She called me. She said she was looking to make the change. And
I think we had a lunch together.
yeah, we had lunch.
It was like immediate. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good
Like,
fit.
oh, okay. Wait, let's go.
Yeah. So we jived and, it's been just a good thing. I mean, we're the last one standing, but it's
For putting it
meshed
together
very well
in a
together.
year, I think it's gone very well.
Yep. Rose, you'll get a kick out of this one. I have several deals going right now, and the ones that are on well and septic all have a problem. So one's with the well pump, one's with the septic lift station.
Yeah, I had the same thing this fall. I
And
had
the other
three
one
at the same
tested
time.
high. Yeah. So
I had a
it's
well-
I had 2 bad well tests this past 30, 60 days.
Yeah, so it's just getting through that and, dealing with, people, and most people are great to deal with, but some people could be,
high strung.
high strung. It could be more high maintenance. It's just, it's a tedious process, especially right now with the market being so competitive. Safe to say that having a high anxiety level is, it's par for the course right now.
I definitely always tell my buyers, like, look, the price you're shopping isn't maybe all the price you're going to get. And I just kind of tell them up front, I'm like, it's not a fun time for buyers because let's be honest, it's not. You are stuck in love with something that may have some problems that how are you going to pay for it? Like, hey, a seller's not offering a home warranty. You might have to buy your own, and just kind of get through it. And I think that's a lot more difficult for my first-time home buyers, that kind of showing them, hey, this is a reality. This is the way it's been for a couple of years now, and we aren't seeing it change really right now anytime soon.
It's a little better right now. I feel like from the last 5 years.
Yeah.
If you're looking at it as a whole for the last 5 years, it's a little better, but it's still not a buyer's market. So,
What are some challenges you're seeing?
oh my gosh. Well, I'm in a little bit different position because obviously I'm managing. So I'm seeing struggles with agents that are not able to make it in the business because there's not enough sales. I've had a few people move to holding this year. So I'm seeing that challenge, As far as sales go, I mean, you have to work right now. I feel like you can't just skate by and survive in this industry. You have to be pounding the pavement, contacting your database, keeping in touch with your past clients, on top of taking leads, doing the open houses. And I just feel like you have to work it, otherwise it's not going to work out for you.
No, if you want to win the deal and make some money, you got to keep going.
Yep. So that's the challenges I'm seeing, on top of the basic challenges of transactions, of septics failing and having to hook up to city sewer and
Which
Again, you have to deal with that problem because not like you can go fall in love with the next house next week.
Right.
No,
It's
you
not
do
gonna
have to
happen.
deal with it because,
overcome them.
you don't have the pick of the litter like you once did. And it's been a while since we've had that. As you stated before, I feel the lull in the market, but I feel it's like that every time, this time of year, seems to be that way. But, I think if history repeats itself, we'll see it go crazy after the holidays.
I feel like right now, if you don't have someone strong and who's actually going to pick up that phone, you may not be buying a house. Not even just the experience, but willing to at least, at minimum, go get the answer. Go find a solution. What's the problem and fix it. You have to be a problem solver right now. If you aren't, I don't know how you're going to get your client to win the offer right now.
Well, and just kind of going off of what you're saying right now, I feel like confidence is a big thing. As a seasoned agent, I feel like it's no holds barred. I have no problem telling a buyer what they need to do to get an offer accepted. Do I recommend doing those things, as a representative of the buyer? No, I really don't. But unless you do some of these things when you're competing against 5, 6, 10 other people, you're going to find yourself doing things you do not want to do, such as waiving inspections, appraisal shortfalls. And I feel like sometimes, not having that confidence to be able to tell someone what they need to do to get an offer accepted could be the difference in you not only winning the deal, but you keeping the buyer as a long-term client. It's about communication right from the start. It's like Chandra said, it's picking up the phone. Just being the one who picks up the phone. I can't even believe the amount of agents that screen their phone calls. If you don't know the number, pick up the phone. That's the starting point. If I am awake,
my family knows. Hello, this is Chandra. Everyone is quiet.
You know what? If I'm awake, then I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna text back. I don't care what time it is. I don't have a shut off switch. That's how important communication is to me personally. This is a strenuous process. I believe that you have to be there for people no matter the time or the day for the most important purchase of their life. Yeah. So I really do believe that.
I think the number one complaint I have as a manager is not communicating. Now, hey, I'm calling about your agent. They're not communicating with me for some reason, or we can't get so-and-so to call back, or, I can't reach this person. So communication is so key to the whole transaction, not just with their buyer, but also with the other agent. Having a good reputation as another agent working with is huge. And that's something people, I think consumers never think of. You don't want the other agent to cringe when they see your name as the listing agent, you know what I mean? Because you don't communicate. So communication is huge on those management levels as well as with your clients.
Totally.
But I'm with you. You got to answer. You got to at least call back all your calls same day.
So for my investors that are selling, buying versus a first-time home buyer, it's about marketing, like showing them what the market is, showing them what the market's doing, showing them that no, Zillow is not important. It's important to have an agent right now that can show you, because you're not buying the best fix and flips right now. You're buying right now for your numbers to make sense on like a renting level. Flipping is hard right now because people are selling houses that haven't been touched in 20, 30 plus years at top dollar. Mm-hmm. So there's not much room for investors. So, when they want to get into it, it's like, okay, what is making sense? When you have to know what the market rents are, you have to know what the area is going to sell for, fixed up, not fixed up, be able to walk into that house. Hey, is this worth doing or not doing to still get top dollar? And it's a little bit harder for investors, but I still probably sell to one once a month.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm having fun.
Yeah. I love what I do. I have a passion for it. And, I've been doing it a long time. And like Rose said, it's staying in front of your past database to, get those referrals and repeat business. And I couldn't make the money I make doing anything else with a high school education. So there's days, trust me, there's days where, just like with anything, you just want to throw in the towel and, be like, I am so done. But the rewards definitely outweigh the challenges. The pros outweigh the cons. You're helping people achieve something so great. And, you can either be, a positive part of that process or a negative part of that process. So I love what I do, and I hope that it shows.
I'm the same way. I love what I do. I could not imagine doing anything other than, real estate. So I don't know why that's where I was put, but that's my place. And I'll do this until I die. I say that. I'm like, I will be 90 years old with my walker, getting people in houses.
My mom says, I think even if you won the lotto, you'd still sell real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I've been investing for 9 years, but I think being a realtor is more fun. Like, I don't know. I kind of put investing off to the side, but I don't. Like, if a deal comes up, like picking up Dairy Depot in the building, that was cool. But, like, I don't like going and showing houses. I'm in, like, an empath, so I'm feeling all these people's feelings when they're mad, when they're happy, when they're frustrated, when, everything. So it just gives me something to do, and it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
It's so rewarding.
We used to have a slideshow of all the crazy things we saw at the REOs, and we would watch it like once a year and add to it.
What about the raccoon?
The raccoon?
When during the REO days, there was, I think it even made in one of the REO magazines at the time.
Oh my goodness.
There was a raccoon that froze into the toilet. It fell from the attic ceiling because I think
It got locked in the bathroom.
or something.
And then it dug through the floor, and it was stuck between the bathroom and
it
the
was
basement.
frozen because there wasn't heat. Yeah, I do remember it was frozen. I'm like, where was it frozen? Was it frozen in the toilet? I could not quite remember, but that was interesting.
That was a long time ago.
I've had a deal fall apart right at the at the very last second. It was very recent. As a matter of fact, we had gotten one of those catastrophic storms that we never get. The wind was just blowing from the right direction, and it blew in through what we later found out was the window. We didn't know where it was coming from. And the people came to the final walkthrough. It wasn't a whole lot of water. It was in the unfinished part. And they walked away, and they, wanted to keep their earnest money. But my seller thought they were entitled to at least half of the earnest money because it wasn't going to take much work. We got somebody out there right away. And my sellers felt like, that they should be entitled because they were willing to fix it. And it wasn't really catastrophic as far as the water being in there in the unfinished part of the basement. So we had Goebel come out, a local waterproofing company, and they said they were very confident that it was just the window, and they were just going to put some glass tiles over it and seal it up for the rest of, the house's life. And it wasn't good enough. So it fell apart at the closing table. It went on to be a big thing. We had held some money in escrow for them, double the amount, just in case something happened when, after closing, when the window was being repaired. And the attorney holding the earnest money did not want to release that money they put in escrow outside of the earnest money for the repairs. So he was illegally holding on to it. So it was a debacle. It was a fight. It was very crazy between all parties. Mm-hmm. So I never experienced that with it happening.
Usually
right
attorneys
there.
are very professional. Yeah.
I remember I didn't read, I guess, the whole showing instructions. I had a dog come running out, and I'm like, oh no, you're not supposed to. I'm like, and I read it again. Dog's fine, dog's safe, enjoy the dog. I'm like, oh, okay.
That reminds me at Thanksgiving, now that it's Thanksgiving time, I should say, I was showing, and there was a rogue turkey running around, and it was just kind of kept pecking at the window and going crazy. It was like he was like a zombie turkey, just trying to get at us and just kept hitting its beak on the door. I did get a video of it a long time ago. I don't know where it is now, but that was pretty crazy.
My catastrophic storm story happened the same night that you were talking about your storm story. We both had a closing the next day. And mine went the exact opposite way, though. My buyer came to final walkthrough. The sellers were not out yet, which is unusual. Usually we knew it was going to be a problem, so we came early, and the seller was actually laying in the living room floor, laying with 6 cats in different crates and 2 chinchillas, and it just stuff piled up in the living room still. They were still loading the U-Haul. So she's very distraught. The basement had taken on water. My buyer was like, this could be very beneficial to us. He said, we're taking a vacation in a couple weeks and we'd love to get that paid for. He said, do you think you could negotiate us a credit? And I was like, well, yeah. I'm like, this is obviously unprecedented storm. So that's exactly what we did. I called the other agent and I said, you realize your seller's laying in the floor? I said, she's not even moving. She's laying there. And she said, she's very distraught. And I said, I understand. I said, my buyers aren't going to walk away if we can negotiate a credit. And of course, the seller was very, very happy about that. Got herself put together, you know what I mean? Got out. We came back an hour later for the final walkthrough. And because of it being a last minute change, you can't change things like that on the closing statement. The bank's like, you can't change anything. So they worked it out amongst themselves. And that was fine with me. I said, you guys can work out whatever you guys decide. And they did. And both parties were happy. The seller was actually buying another property. So it would have snowballed, obviously, if they had not worked something out. Yeah. So that's why one of the reasons she was so distraught. But it was a happy ending for that one. So.
I'm glad that you had a happy ending.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because yours wasn't even bad. Whereas mine was
me out for like 2 weeks.
Mine was very terrible. Yeah. The condition was bad.
Until I resold the property. Until we got it relisted and resold, it was a stress.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Your story reminded me like a month ago. I was standing outside with a client and she loved this house, okay? Gorgeous, updated, whatever. We kind of had a feeling like a groundhog or something was under the shed in the back. Tell me why. It's like 1 o'clock, okay? And this thing, I don't even know what it was. It had to have been a groundhog. But we're like standing from like me to you away from the house. Like we're almost like in the middle of the yard. The thing started running towards us, but it didn't run against the house, right towards us. Oh, God. So I'm like, wow. I've never seen something. We're like running and screaming and going in circles. We don't know what to do. I don't know why. I just thought the thing was going to jump on us. Yeah. And then I left the garage back door open, and I'm like, they're like, well, Chandra, what if it would have got in the house? I'm like, I don't even know what we would have did. Like, yeah. So lesson learned, close the door behind you and bring the key.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh my gosh. So I was on a tour with a brand new agent. I'm like, okay, so we're walking to this house and we go into the basement and I'm telling him as a new agent, don't go in the basement with clients unless you know them. This is a safety issue. Don't put yourself first in the basement is what I'm telling him. I said, because you just never know, is there someone in the basement? Could there someone come in? And as I'm telling him this, we're in the basement, somebody comes in the front door and we hear like somebody walking and we were like, oh my God, like somebody is here, and it's like, so we both like run up the stairs and it happened to be the seller. And it was a vacant home, but the seller had stopped by because he knew the showing was going on. And he was like, when we heard that door, he's like, I literally thought I was going to have to fight somebody.
Oh my God,
he's like, you had me so scared about like somebody coming in. Yeah. And then someone came in, so yeah, so that was kind of...
That doesn't happen often.
It doesn't.
Where somebody comes in. Although lately, with all these back-to-back showings, sometimes it happens, but not usually.
We could go on for days with these stories.
It's a real thing, guys.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. That just happened to me. The secret room in the basement. Remember?
Yes, and I couldn't believe you went in. You were not supposed to go in.
I know. My seller was like, okay, come look at this. And he opens it up, and it's a Murphy door, and it leads to like literally what looks like a dungeon. And it was just like an unfinished area of the basement. Yeah. But I obviously don't know.
Was it like a storm shelter? Or?
Just a hidden room. And he was like, well, come take a look. It kind of goes back. And I'm like,
why do you need to see that?
I was like, going to, but thank you.
I did. I walked in there. I felt comfortable. You know what I mean? It's like, you have to go with your gut at those things. Yeah. I was like, okay. I was like, this is where it ends. But it didn't. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have one for buyers. I really think buyers, you need to start going back and like interviewing. I know they've all gotten very clicky and everything's super easy to like schedule on Zillow and things, but it's so important in this market to have an agent that, for one, wants to work, for two, that's going to answer your call, and go back to interviewing us.
Yeah, that's a great advice.
Yeah, I think so too. For sellers, since, I would say the same as far as on the buying process, and have the confidence to listen to your agent. Right now, we're at a weird point in the market, but I feel like at any point in the market this past year, things are flying off the market. It's aggressive, but you have to be priced right, because if you overprice it, it will sit. So that's kind of been the motto. If you overprice it, it will sit. You have to price it right and you will get into a bidding war. It might bring you back up to that price you wanted to list it at. It's the weirdest thing. But listen to us when we tell you that you do not want to grotesquely overprice at the very least. So if you're going to overprice it, at least just make it a very small amount. And then once we bring it down, it's more realistic and we can get it sold. But definitely take our advice on pricing.
All right, my advice is for buyers, sellers, and agents in this crazy real estate world is also just be flexible. Don't ever dig your heels in and not be flexible on any issue. I think when we are going through this, it is a stressful time for buyers and sellers, and sometimes they get hyper-focused on one thing, and it can be, in my history, it can be as little as like an outlet, and they're like, I'm not closing unless this outlet is fixed, So as simple things like that. It can be bigger, obviously, as well. But my advice is to just try to take a deep breath and be flexible. And buyers want to buy and sellers want to sell. So that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, and I think that works on agents' part is having that patience with your buyers too, even though it's such a little thing. I had some little things come up on a home inspection, and it's hard to even, it's hard enough to get the bigger things fixed, let alone things like screens. So I'm like, okay, well, you know what? We're not going to be able to get this done, but, I'm going to give you a gift card for enough money to buy these screens. And, it's just stepping in as an agent to make sure the deal gets done no matter what it takes.
Yeah.
So it's not just about us or our pocketbook. It's about getting people into a home. And I think us as agents need to remember that.
Love you, girls.
Yeah. Very lucky to have you both. Yeah.
Yep. Very blessed.